on guitar, and welcome to the first video in a series of how to play like Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits. All right, and so I've got this tablature lesson going on that you can download, and I have a backing track all prepared for you. And here we go. So the first thing you're going to want to do is tune up your guitar to standard tuning. Hey, if you've got a Strat like this, that's what Mark Knopfler played. And so a Strat works perfect, but I've got my Fender Flame here. It's a little bit like an SG, but it is a Fender guitar. And so whether you have a 3-way switch or a 5-way switch, doesn't matter, but I would set it right in the middle. Okay, so step one, you don't want your switch all the way down or all the way up. You want to set it right in the middle. Okay, and that way you get the right tone for a lot of what Mark Knopfler is doing. Sometimes he flips it all the way up toward the ceiling, and you get more of a bluesy tone if you're playing really high notes, okay? If you're playing the really high notes, it sounds best to have it flipped all the way up. But for for his licks, you want to have it in the middle, okay? And then Mark Knopfler usually just rides his volume knob throughout the song, okay? So my next tip is, if you set the volume all the way up, crank it to 10, you're going to get the most sustain and the most aggressive sound. But if it's during the verses and you're just filling in between the lines of the singing, you're going to want to turn your volume knob to about 7, and it cleans up the distortion sound a little bit, okay? So I've got my orange amp over here in the corner. The gain's set at about 12 o'clock, all right, about 50%. And so in that way, I can add more distortion or less just by moving my volume knob, okay? So I don't have to press any buttons with my feet. I don't have a foot controller. I don't have any pedals. I'm simply using the guitar to make the right sounds, okay? So you use your volume knob to control the amount of distortion sound. Okay, so let's get started with the first exercise. So let's go ahead and pull up our tabs. So this is Mark Knopfler exercise number 1. Okay, obviously he doesn't use a pick, right? So you're going to want to go thumb, finger, thumb, finger, thumb, finger. And I'm using the old-fashioned classical guitar terminology on this page. See those little letters that say P-I, P-I, P-I? It's in Spanish, okay? Hey, the classical guitar was invented in Spain, so it's been Spanish ever since. Pulgar, indus. All right, thumb, finger. So you're going to go pluck with the thumb, pluck with the finger, back and forth, and that's how you get started playing like Mark Knopfler. Okay, and there's exercise number 1. And if you're on a mobile device, you can't see all the tabs, so I'm going to move it over a little bit for you so that you can see. It's just the pentatonic scale. All right, it's just a basic D minor pentatonic scale. And so it sounds like this. Okay, here's what to practice. Don't use your fingernails, but instead the side of the thumb and the corner of your finger, and so you're not really plucking with your nails, but you're plucking with the skin of your thumb and your finger, so you can get a smooth tone. If I use my fingernail, then it sounds like this, and that's rather aggressive. So he's using the side of his thumb and get more of a mellow tone, okay? And so thumb, finger, thumb, finger, thumb, finger, you alternate. Okay, here's the next thing to practice. Hold that last note out. how long can you make that last note really ring out? It's not enough just to play the exercise and then get to the last note and go, well, guess I can stop trying now. When you get to the last note, you're still performing. You're still performing that note. You have to just make it last and last and last. And when you play vibrato, you can make that note linger, okay? So work on your vibrato on that last note. All right, so we got our thumb and finger alternation going. And so let's just move on to exercise 2. Okay, in this one, you strike every note 3 times. And so now you're going thumb, index, thumb. And then you're going index, thumb, index. Thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, index. So it's a triplet, but you've only got 2 fingers, so there's alternation there. Like that. Okay, so what am I doing with my hand? Let's take a closer look. All right. Let's take a closer look. So I'm kind of just curling up the fingers that I'm not using. All right, and then I'm kind of laying my palm on the strings. And so I'm muting the strings that I don't want to ring. So when I play one string, I only get that one string to ring. If my hand's up in space and I play a string, hear all that extra ringing? Where's that coming from? The whole guitar will just start to ring. Okay, if you just play one note, all the strings will ring. So mute out all that extra ringing so you have just the sound of the note you want and none of the other strings can make any noise. Okay, so mute them out. Get good at holding that last note, okay? Work on your long notes. Okay, let's pull up the backing track. Okay, I made this backing track in Logic Pro, and you can download an MP3 or a WAV file of it, or if you have Logic Pro, you can just go ahead and download the Logic Pro session. Okay, and then you can play around with it at home. And so here's the track. Okay, and you can practice these different exercises. Okay, and so there's our backing track. Hey, it doesn't sound exactly like Sultans of Swing. It's a little bit different, but it's close. It's just basically some chords in D minor for you. Okay, anyways, so I'm just jumping around on those different scales that we just had on the tabs, and I'm just improvising with that. But let's go ahead and pull up those tabs one more time, and let's take a look at the third exercise, exercise 3. Okay, now we're getting into how to sound like Sultans of Swing. You know that really fast part he plays at the end? The part that everybody really likes? This is it, okay? So he's going. That's the move. And then the next one. And then the next one. Okay, how do you do all this stuff with your fingers and no pick? Well, I think he's playing with his thumb. And then he's going thumb index. But then I think he keeps the pattern going in a different way. I think he's going middle, thumb, index. Middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index. So it's a pattern. Okay, it's too hard to just use the thumb and the index to play this riff. Using the middle and index and thumb, you can really play it a lot faster once you develop the skills. Okay, so you can get up to breakneck speed with it. Okay, so thumb, middle, index. You might actually want to start, I know it says thumb on the tab there, but you might want to start with the middle on the first note. Middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index. Like that. Okay, here's a great question. Let's do a close-up on the hands. Does he hold down the double 10 with a flat finger while he plays it? Okay, use your ear. What do you think? If I hold both of those 10th fret notes down and I play the riff, how does it sound? Okay, you get this sound. You get both notes at the same time. Does it sound like that? Now you'll have to listen to Sultans of Swing to see what's the sound like. Okay, is it instead pushing 1/10th fret note then the other individually but never both at the same time? Is he rocking his finger back and forth so that the notes are individually played but never together? How does that sound? Like this. Okay, use your ear. So, does it sound like this? Or does it sound like this? There's a huge difference, right? Big difference. And so I think he's doing the rocking method where he individually plays the notes. But you can always watch a video and stare at his fingers and see, is he just squishing his finger flat there? Maybe try it both ways and see which way is better. There we go. Okay, and then that keeps going. Let's pull up the tab again. Okay, the first one is a 13 and double 10. Then the next one is a 13 and 10, but then the other note is 11. Okay, and then if you're on a mobile device, you can't see the next measure, so I'll move it over. There it is. Same fingers, same move, 2 frets higher. Okay, and that's the famous move from the song. Okay, now I've got 10 exercises on how to sound like Mark Knopfler here. And some of them are pentatonic scales, some are double stops, okay, some are string skipping, some are with slides and bends, some are with the blues scale. And these are all just really unique to the way he plays. And I put them all in a PDF, so I'll put the link down below. And then you can just go ahead and download those, okay? But anyway, let's go ahead and put the backing track back on again and do some jamming. Okay, so just play along. Here we go from the top. hopefully you thought that those little tips were pretty helpful. And I'll do another video where I do the next 3 exercises in this series, okay? But thanks for tuning in. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop me a like, okay? And thank you very much for tuning in. My name's Andy, and I'm from Beyond Guitar. And check the links below, and I'll post all the tabs and stuff for you. Bye-bye.